Zach, Department Chairperson for Family and Consumer Sciences, who will introduce our next speaker, Mrs. Zach.
Good morning and congratulations to each of you. When I was asked to introduce our next speaker, I had just returned from my son's graduation. The first presenter that morning began his speech saying, 25 years from today, you'll probably not remember this speech or who presented it. I thought that was a rather odd and deflating introduction. Though I wish it was only 25 years ago, I do remember my high school graduation speakers, and I have often applied their messages to the decisions I've made in life. I have no doubt that the next speaker, Bongermino, will create for you a lasting memory. I have high energy in the morning. I enjoy being extra friendly at 7 in the morning in the B2 hallway. Most students ignore my obnoxious morning greetings. I know it wasn't out of disrespect. I know most of you never wake up to the end of third period. Early in September of 2008, there was a curious student that always smiled back at me, and she even bid me good morning every morning. Her smile has illuminated that B2 hallway almost every day for the past 4 years. Her smile is contagious. It's a smile of pure joy, enthusiasm, and a total zest for all the wonders of life. At the end of the day, in the fall of 2008, I was struck by another hall oddity in B2. On Mondays, I would peer into B2, and there would be that smile once again. This time, the smile was surrounded by yarn, knitting needles, and a group of teddy bears and some elderly women. Anne worked with beer cups for all 4 years of high school. One could say she was the gang leader. She went on to direct it for 2 years. As I walked by the hall, I could always hear her say, "Why don't you come in here and learn to knit? Why don't you talk to these ladies? Why don't you clothe a bear? Why don't you help a charity?" Besides ending bear nudity in Scotia, Anne completed most volunteer hours for GIVE in her junior year. That's not surprising to me. Anne always gives more than she takes. Now, all of you have watched Anne from afar, too. She has graced the stage in each of your drama productions. Anne never played a leading role. She always played with enthusiasm a supporting role. Anne is just that type of person, always supporting the efforts of others. Anne played Auntie M in The Wizard of Oz. Like her character, Anne has a sense of responsibility and a deep concern for people. Anne played Natasha, the ballerina doll in the production of Dolls. Natasha was sassy and determined. Anne demands perfection of herself. She was determined to get that Russian accent perfectly. I want you to know I did have the opportunity to teach Anne in the classroom. Anne took my AP psychology class as a junior. Besides being very bright and very curious, Anne has the amazing ability to take complex concepts and explain them to people in simple terms. Early Early in September of 2010, I found myself in what I call teacher's purgatory. This is when, as a teacher, you have passionately explained an important concept, but as you look out at the faces in your classroom, there's not a soul out there that understood a thing you said. I looked over at Anne. She gave me that smile once again. She very nicely rephrased my words, and the total class understood the concept for the day. Throughout the year, she continued to take the major concepts of psychology and beautifully apply them to everyday life. Like the reporter she played on stage in the production Anything Goes, Anne has chosen to study communications. She has been awarded the prestigious Presidential Scholarship at Ithaca College. There, she will refine her talents, and I'm sure we will see her work in journalism or advertising. Now, explaining both the complexities and simplicities of our world, I give you my very good friend, Anne Bongermino.
Good morning. Over the past few weeks, I've been going through some serious bouts of nostalgia. Of course, it's nearly impossible to leave something so familiar that's been such a big part of our lives for so long without feeling a bit sentimental. As we flip through our yearbooks and our Facebook photo albums, we reflect on the memories made with friends and family. We recognize that a lot has happened since we started school. The class of 2012 has a lot to feel sentimental about. As we entered kindergarten back in 1998, we were hardly aware of the happenings in the world around us. Most of us were more concerned with Mulan being out in theaters or SpongeBob premiering on Nickelodeon than to take notice of the momentous events of the next few years. We did current events projects on the 2000 election using Google, which had just become the world's largest search engine, even though we still had to wait for dial-up. We sat in our second grade classrooms on 9/11, not old enough to completely understand, but quite capable of being touched by the tragedy. By the end of elementary school, we had seen another election, and while we discussed politics intermittently, we were easily distracted by our Pokemon trading cards and our Tamagotchi. In our freshman year, President Obama was elected, and in a few months, many of us will be voting ourselves. We saw natural disasters, the tsunami in the Indian Ocean that showed us that some things are unpredictable, and the power of Hurricane Katrina that taught us that the world is an unstable place. But we grew, we adjusted, and we learned to help. When we saw the earthquake in Haiti in 2010, many of us whipped out our cell phones to donate $10, taking action in the world around us. When we were hit close to home by Irene, we were reminded that we are not invincible, but that we are a strong community, and that jumping jacks can survive anything. We joined GIVE, student government, and other groups in an effort to change our world. We share our opinions, and we are not afraid to stand up for what we believe in, even if what we believe in is silly bands. We became a class of determined, outspoken, influential individuals, and our struggles have made us stronger. From here, we can only wonder what will come next. What kinds of new technology will we use? What new innovations will we create? What current events will children read about us? generation who grew up alongside Harry Potter influenced the world. The class of 2012 has been defined by the history we witnessed, by the changes we have felt, and by the events that shaped our environment. Now, as we go forward, we will remember the incredible things we have seen and use these experiences to make our own history, to change the world we live in, and to shape our own environment. We are a class defined by history, and we are a defining class. Thank you.